I had a call about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it was a real honor. It came about 2:30 in the morning. It was a long distance call. And it turns out that I was the runner-up for the Nobel Peace Prize. You see, folks, you don't need to accomplish anything anymore. All you need to do is make a bunch of promises and you win special awards. I am waiting for the Heisman Trophy for next year to give me a call.
Yeah, very good.
I'm the Weld County District Attorney. I don't know how many of you read the paper on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, but we had a Supreme Court case that was very interesting. Any of you read about that? Turns out up in Weld County, where I'm the District Attorney, we have one of the highest identity theft rates in the country. 3 years ago, we were 3rd in the country. 2 years ago, we were 11th in the country. And last year, we were 4th in the country, in the United States of America, in identity theft. We had a complaint from an individual in Texas telling us that his identity had been stolen. He was up in, and the person who was using his identity was in Weld County. Interviewed that person. Person said, yes, I've been using that identity to gain employment. I've also been using that identity to file a tax return. Well, that struck us as odd. Why would someone tell the federal government that I'm here illegally? So we interviewed the tax return preparer, and she said, yes, I am filing tax returns for many people who are in the country illegally using false identities. Okay. We investigated the case for 3 or 4 weeks, did many, many interviews, presented an affidavit to a judge who signed the affidavit and said, yes, you have probable cause to believe that there is evidence of a crime located at the return preparer's office. We went in there, folks. Guess how many people, guess how many illegal immigrants were using stolen identities? 1,338 in one return preparer. So we started to investigate those cases. We started to prosecute those cases. And our friends over at the ACLU started a lawsuit. This Monday, the Colorado Supreme Court issued an opinion, 4-3 decision, that illegal immigrants had their rights violated by that search warrant. So we have now 1,338 American citizens who we can't even notify that their identities have been stolen and are currently being used in this country to their detriment. Can't even notify them. Now, folks, I'm a strong believer in the Constitution, but there are times where courts misinterpret that Constitution and take it too far. And we have to fight that also. We need a United States Senator in the United States Senate who will only confirm judges who strictly interpret the Constitution. Yes. My wife Perry and I have traveled to all 64 counties in Colorado. My wife owns a business up in Greeley, and she is now my campaign partner. Some of you may know Perry. She is a ball of fire. She is a Swede, not a Paisan. But I have a feeling our wives have a lot in common. I have 2 children. My son Cody is in his 3rd year at West Point. He spent 4 hours waiting for the president to take the stage the other day and speak about Afghanistan. So he missed dinner and didn't get to study for finals. So he was not the most happy young man, but he was interested in what was being said because it will affect his life deeply. I have a daughter who is in her 3rd year at Clemson University, or in her 1st year at Clemson University. And she called me after 2 weeks of classes, and she was very excited because she has a conservative political science professor. So folks, I stand before you today to tell you that if you send your child halfway across the country, you can find a conservative political science professor. You know, when Perry and I have been traveling the counties in this wonderful state of ours, we have heard a few things very consistently from Republicans, from independents, from Democrats. The first thing is they are sick and tired of hearing the same answer from Washington, D.C. The answer to bad government is more bad government. I don't know, how many of you think we need the federal government to interfere in education in Colorado? No, go ahead, raise your hand. No, raise your hand. How many of you think that we need the federal government to determine where our roads are built in Colorado? Or how to stimulate the economy in Colorado by spending more federal dollars in Colorado? Or how our health care should look? I get the same reaction everywhere I go. But you know the other thing I hear from folks, and this is something that is real interesting. It's not real surprising, but it's real interesting. People are sick and tired of Republicans going back to Washington, D.C. and being bought by the system in Washington, D.C. We send our elected officials to Washington, D.C. to change Washington, D.C., and they get changed by Washington, D.C. And we don't need to stand for it anymore, folks. We are going to have a choice. We're going to have a choice in the caucuses, in the assembly, and in the primary. And you will have a choice to choose a conservative. You see, when I go back there in 2011, and I raise my right hand, and I put my left hand on the Bible, and I swear an oath, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't swear that oath to a political party. I don't swear that oath to the leaders at the National Republican Senatorial Committee. I don't swear that oath to a group of lobbyists. I swear that oath to the Constitution of the United States, so help me God. And Lisa, would you raise your hand, please? My county chair is standing right back there. There she is, Lisa. She what? County's
County chair or Weld County?
Pueblo County chair, yes.
Okay.
We have an organization in all 64 counties. And you know what? There are some candidates in the Senate race that were dropped in behind the lines. They were chosen by John McCain. They have been funded by the lobbyists in Washington, D.C. They have supported tax increases in the past. That's not Ken Buck. I am your grassroots candidate. I am the candidate that is getting to every 9/12, every Tea Party event that I can possibly get to every Republican breakfast, every Republican lunch, every women's Republican event that I can get to. I will talk to every single person, and it won't be over some slick TV commercial. It'll be eye to eye. And my small government, strong America message is being well received from Sterling to Cortez and everywhere in between, folks. They want to hear that there is a difference between Michael Bennet and Ken Buck. Yes. Yeah. There is a difference between the guy with the silver spoon in his mouth when he was growing up and the guy who was the ranch hand and janitor and truck driver and furniture mover and football coach. There is a difference between those two individuals. And the difference is what's inside, the core values of someone who believes in more government as the solution and someone that believes in opportunity for folks to make a living and make a better life for themselves. And that's the difference.